So this is the GitHub Portfolio Builder. It's my Sinatra portfolio project. What the GitHub Portfolio Builder does is it allows a user to manage their GitHub portfolio. Basically, it's a content management system for the repos you have, allowing you to put it in a portfolio and then display them. I've already created an account. I'm going to log in. What it will take me to in a second is the make a portfolio page. I don't have any portfolios yet, I'll click make a portfolio. It's going to make a new portfolio object. I can name this portfolio and it'll get my GitHub repos. What this is doing is when you initially sign up, it asks you for your GitHub username. And so this is going to the GitHub API and getting all your repos based on what your GitHub username is. That's why it takes a second, because it's interacting with the GitHub API, and I have a lot of repos. As you can see, all the repos that I have been doing labs with for the Flatiron program. I put in a little nice JavaScript that allows you to, X out of stuff, so you don't have to look through the whole list if you wanted to minimize things. And you can, if you want, check the repos that you want to include in your portfolio, because obviously I don't want to include 160 repos in my portfolio. You can also set update the name for the portfolio at this point if you want to. So if I want to call it, instead of test, I'll call it testing number 2. And then at the bottom, I can save this portfolio. And this updates the portfolio and associates those repos with it. So you can see now the repos that are associated with it. If I wanted to go back, let's say I decided I hadn't picked the right repos for that portfolio, I can click Edit. And initially, it'll just show you the repos that you've already selected. You can unselect one of those if you want, for example. But let's say you want to go back and add more. You click the Refresh GitHub Repos button. And this will show you all the unselected repos. And in addition to this, that will also check with your GitHub account. And if you've added new repos, there will additionally be a section that says new repos under here. But I'm not going to demonstrate what that looks like at the moment. So let's say I want to put the Active Records Lab on here. I can select that. I can unselect, let's say, Subnet splash page. And then I can go down and save again. And that will update your portfolio to make sure that it has the correct repos associated with it. So, this repo down here doesn't have a description in it. So let's say I want to add a description, even though it isn't on my GitHub description. I can say update description, and I'll say this is my test description, and I can save that. So you can have, we don't always put the most descriptive descriptions of our repos on GitHub. You might want something a little bit more verbose when you're presenting yourself in your portfolio. You can update that. The next big piece of functionality is creating displays for these repos. So the idea here is that you'd be able to create a custom display off a theme or a template and be able to view those different displays, compare them, maybe have a few different options that you're going by as you're working with it. So I'll create a display, save it. And initially what this is going to do is going to use the default template that looks somewhat like the last page you see, but as you can see, it doesn't have the nav bar at the top. It doesn't have the edit buttons there. This is showing you what it would look like if you just basically copied and pasted the HTML and CSS and displayed that on, for example, a personal website. Again, the idea is that you'd be able to have multiple themes you can choose from, but as a proof of concept, I just did this one initial theme. And you can still view the HTML source code and the CSS code that is behind that theme, and update the theme as you see fit. So if I wanted the background to be green, I could just edit the CSS, and this is actually saving the template for that particular display, to the database, and then it's pulling that up when it gets rendered and showing you what that display would look like. Now you can see that the display is blank, and you can go back to displays. Maybe you create a new one that has different coloring or different themes, etc., and then compare them to each other. And again, if you wanted to view the code, you can just copy and paste it from that template. So that is the GitHub repo portfolio project, and I hope you liked it. Thank you.